socks off.
Hold on to your socks, Buster!
And this time, they're cruising for maximum bruising. Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage.
That is science.
And Jamie Heineman.
We're going to have an adventure.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
Fun for the whole family.
Joining them, Grant Imahara,
Formidable projectile.
Carrie Byron,
Let's do it.
and Tori Belleci. They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
So what's up?
What's up is that the fans are in control. It is effectively Mythssion Control.
So how does that work?
Cast your mind back to Compact. Remember, we smashed two semis into each other at 50 miles per hour, which you said on camera was equivalent to one of them hitting a wall at 100 miles an hour. And the fans went nuts. They are revolting. They rose up and they said, no, two cars hitting each other at 50 miles an hour is not equivalent to one hitting a wall at 100 miles an hour. It's equivalent to one hitting a wall at 50 miles an hour. They say that you were wrong.
Let's test it.
That's what I thought.
It was the episode that had it all. Crashes.
Wow.
Smashes. And according to fans, a subtle physics faux pas.
Both trucks were traveling at about 50 miles an hour when the impact occurred. Now that's equivalent to a single impact going into a solid wall at 100 miles an hour.
Stop right there. This innocent remark
Now that's equivalent to a single impact going into a solid wall at 100 miles an hour.
sparked a fan frenzy. They reckon that because of Newton's third law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The two cars crashing at 50 miles per hour is the same as one car crashing into a wall at just 50 miles per hour and not 100. But can this counterintuitive argument really be right?
Well, if the fans are in control, how do they want us to do it?
Obviously, they want us to smash some full-size cars into each other. But I think we may be able to illuminate some of the physics here with a scale experiment.
Under more controlled circumstances.
Exactly.
And then we get to smash some full-size cars.
Yes, we do.
But first up, Adam is rigging a rig that will replicate the crash in miniature. The part of the car will be played by two weights on a pendulum.
It's going to be loud.
And the wall
Bring in the immovable object! Bring in the immovable object!
It's time for the immovable object.
will be played by this hunk of steel.
Allow me to demonstrate the rig here. This is our car. It's basically a swinging hammer. This is our wall. It's an unmovable piece of 1,200 pounds of steel. I will be swinging this car into the wall at speed x and speed 2x, which is basically double speed x. That's our 50-mile-per-hour hit. That's our 100-mile-per-hour hit. Our measurement will be done simply with a piece of clay that sits right behind the main hammer and between it and a secondary hammer. Obviously, when I swing this car into the wall, that clay will compress, and it will likely compress a different amount at speed x than at speed 2x, and this gives me a beautiful comparison point when I smack two cars into each other a little bit later.
Okay, so the swing from 1x will imitate a 50-mile-per-hour wall crash, and the 2x swing will double the speed to replicate a crash into a wall at 100 miles per hour.
Car hitting a wall at speed 1x in 3, 2, 1. Satisfying ding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Satisfying maybe, but more importantly, their first data point.
Post-compression length, 1.5.
For a comprehensive result, the guys get into the swing of things and repeat the test 5 more times. Next, it's time to double the speed to 2x for a full swing.
Uncompressed length, 2.6. Car hitting a wall at speed 2x in 3, 2, 1.
I think that's more.
I think that's a lot more.
Yep, and the measurements hammer that home.
0.777. It's a little bit less than twice as compressed as the Speed 1X hip.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
It does.
Almost double the compression. But for a larger sample size, they swing into action and repeat the 2X test 5 times. And now that their clay collection is complete,
What's next?
Well, we've got our metric of Speed X and Speed 2X. Now it's time to smack 2 cars into each other. So we're going to remove the wall and bring in a second car.
physicists and fans stand by.
They're identical. Let's do it.
Because this is the moment of truth.
Now, that's equivalent to a single impact going into a solid wall at 100 miles an hour.
Will the clay clear up the controversy, or will it be as clear as mud?
Okay, Mythssion Control. What do the fans have for us?
Guess.
Knock your socks off.
Yep.
Man, we totally busted that one.
Apparently not. According to the fans, you can knock someone's socks off if you have a hard enough punch. So apparently we messed it up.
Really? What did they say we got wrong?
Take your pick.
You used the wrong punch.
Your socks had too much elastic in it.
Buster was not supporting his own weight.
Well, looks like we gotta pull our socks up and give this one another go.
Cool.
Cool. Cool.
The last time the team tested the myth that one punch could lift Buster out of his leg wear,
500 PSI was really intense.
nothing they tried could knock his socks off. And the myth was down for the count. Or was it? Well, apparently not. The fans flooded our inbox telling us exactly what we got wrong. Now, armed with a list of mythical mistakes, the team is ready for a rematch.
So, given the huge fan response, where do we start?
Well, the most prevalent criticism is that we used the wrong sock. We used elasticized, long sports socks, the worst case scenario for the experiment.
Meaning they were too difficult to pull off.
Exactly.
All right, well, why don't we start out with the best case scenario sock, the one that requires the least amount of effort to pull off. Once we find that, then we can unleash some heavyweight punches on it.
All right, well, since we need to be meticulous about this, we should also test hairy leg versus hairless leg. So that way we get the best leg sock combination.
Are you volunteering your bare legs?
I don't wax my legs.
Not yet, you don't.
Oh, hey, round one.
Right, first into the ring is the sock. And to measure just how much force it takes to pull a sock off a human foot,
Hope this is the sock puller and not the knee dislocator.
Grant has designed this sock stripper.
Let me introduce you to the dual sock pulling and measurement machine. Here I have a giant pneumatic cylinder capable of generating over 2,400 pounds of force, which would be equivalent to, say, hanging a car on your sock and letting it drop. Connected to the clevis is a bar with dual high-precision force meters. Now, why 2 meters? Because we want to compare side by side, simultaneously, the difference between a hairy leg and a waxed leg. And finally, here in the seat will sit our test subject, Tori.
Unfortunately for Tori, he is destined for the hot seat. So Carrie is wielding the spatula of doom.
How's that feel?
It actually feels kind of good. What's so bad about waxing?
So ready? 1, 2, 3.
With Tori's legs now covering both bases, smooth and hairy, it's time to select the sock.
What's with all the socks?
Well, for this test, we are going to leave no sock untested. Look at this. We have long socks, short socks, cotton socks, nylon, wool, silk, and finally, genuine 19th century boxing socks. We're going to pull all of these socks off of Tori's feet and find the socks of least resistance.
Ew, Tori's feet, disgusting. Shut up.
Yep, the sock stripper is set. So the team starts at the top.
Okay, this is sock number 1, cotton, long socks, loose elastic.
3, 2, 1.
Carrie notes the numbers, and then it's just apply, strip, and repeat.
Good man. I need you to take off my socks.
Long sock acrylic nylon. Push the button.
Oh!
even come off my foot.
They both peaked out at 35.38.
Tori gets his socks off over and over and over as the team tries socks of every material and length to leave no sock untested, just as you demanded.
So these ones are the lovely socks knit with